You're watching Way 31 First News Morning in high definition.
Good Friday morning. It is 6 a.m. straight up. Thank you for joining us. I'm Erin Dacey.
And I'm Justin McFarland. We are just minutes away from the scheduled launch time for NASA's Orion spacecraft. All things are go. We are getting Twitter feeds in from NASA and from the Orion spacecraft itself. This is a live look from Cape Canaveral as they are preparing for liftoff. The spacecraft was originally supposed to launch yesterday, but it had several delays, including weather, internal problems with the spacecraft itself, and even a boat in the water.
Yeah, the first one, as Justin just mentioned, was there was a boat in the area, and then the launch time was pushed back several times because of high wind speeds.
Now, the launch was eventually scrubbed because of the booster valves, and they failed to function properly. But all that's behind us now. We are ready for launch coming up here in just a few moments.
Yeah, we are just a few minutes away from launch. We are looking at NASA's countdown of the historic event. You can see the countdown clock right there already started. It is at 3:53 and counting. Let's listen in live to NASA television. You're about to watch history, hopefully.
Common booster core liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen tank securing will be started at T-minus 3 minutes, 32 seconds, including closing the propellant fill and drain valves.
T-minus 3 minutes, 32 seconds.
That was
CBC propellant tank securing started.
Vehicle transfer internal complete.
A live shot from Jetty Park. Visitors and locals, campers, fishermen,
You're at flight level.
space aficionados,
3 minutes, 14 seconds.
all gathered to watch today's launch.
CBC pre-press started.
T-minus 3:07.
Vehicle ordnance system will be armed, and the common booster core liquid oxygen and hydrogen
T-minus
prop
3
tanks
minutes.
are being
Vehicle
verified.
ordnance arming.
T-minus 2 minutes, 50 seconds.
LH2 CBC secured.
The liquid hydrogen common booster core tank
Vehicle
is
ordnance
secured.
armed.
Ordnance is armed. T-minus 2 minutes, 31 seconds and counting. At 2 minutes prior to liftoff, the team will verify that the hydraulic system is pressurized and confirm the common booster core delta
CBC locked
cryogenic
at flight
second
pressure and
stage
flight level.
DCSS
2:14.
and flight termination system battery voltages. Coming up on 2 minutes.
T-minus 2 minutes.
GPA script running. Hydraulic press at 4,000.
Everything is go. At T-minus 1 minute, 20 seconds, the team will begin securing the second stage liquid hydrogen tank. T-minus 1 minute, 40 seconds.
T-minus 1 minute, 30 seconds.
OLC, verify Orion nav transition is complete.
LC, this is OLC. Orion nav transition is complete.
1:20.
Second stage LH2 securing started.
At T-minus 60 seconds, the Eastern Range readiness will be verified.
CBC LH2 at flight pressure and flight level.
Working no issues.
T-minus 1 minute.
Engine start box go.
Rock, report range status.
Range green. 50 seconds. 45.
Everything
Launch
is go.
enabled, GE main power off.
Main power off.
40.
Upper stage LH2 secure at flight level.
35. 30.
Status check.
Go Delta.
Go Orion. Brain board.
25.
Flight lock in.
T-minus 20 seconds.
15.
Rofi ignition.
10.
The igniters have been lit.
9. 8. 7. 6.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And liftoff. at dawn. The dawn of Orion and a new era of American space exploration.
Good engine control on the first stage. Passing 25 seconds. Velocity 1,341 feet per second. Passing 31 seconds, still looking good. Good engine control. Good chamber pressure in all three boosters in the full power mode. 40 seconds in. Standing by to go to the partial thrust mode in the core. And we have partial thrust command in the core. Core chamber pressure beginning to drop as expected as we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute into the flight. Still looking good. Good chamber pressure in the core booster in the partial thrust mode. Good chamber pressure in port and starboard in full power mode. One minute, 15 seconds into the flight. We have the hydrazine supply valve open in the second stage. 1 minute, 22 seconds in. Max Q, maximum dynamic pressure on the vehicle. Passing 124, Mach 1. Orion and Delta IV now transcending the speed of sound. 1 minute, 31 seconds in. Good engine control on the first stage. Coming up 1 minute, 40 seconds. Velocity now 1,341 feet per second. 1 minute, 50 seconds in. Still looking good. Coming up on 2 minutes. 2 minutes into the flight. Good engine control on the first stage. Port and starboard boosters still at good chamber pressures in the full power mode and good core chamber pressure in the partial thrust mode at 2 minutes, 22 seconds in.
Unbelievable. What an emotional moment for the Tennessee Valley watching Orion launch. You just watching history with us right here on Way 31 First News Morning. Let's go down to Cape Canaveral where SpaceAlabama.com's Josh Barrett is live.
Thanks, Aaron. I'm speechless right now. I saw the Delta IV briefly from a distance lift off up into the clouds. I'm looking at its vapor trail right now. Everyone around here was cheering, and it's quite the moment to see. Even though it was cloudy, it's beautiful right now. We're about 4.5 hours away from Orion's splashdown. Next up, it's going to make almost 2 full orbits, and the peak of it is it's going to get 3,600 miles above the Earth, come back at over 20,000 miles an hour, generating a plasma bubble in the atmosphere at 4,000 degrees. This is some really difficult stuff that these engineers had to develop, and we're just hoping that it all goes well and Orion splashes down safely in the Pacific Ocean in a few hours.
Josh, were you able to see the trail there? You were just talking about that. How far away are you? What kind of vantage point did you have?
I'm here right now. I can actually see now the smoke is rising from the launch pad. I actually just tweeted out a picture. You can see the white kind of vapor trail in the gray clouds, and it was incredibly loud. I'm here at the press site where the clock is. I'm over a few miles away, and as it was lifting off, the ground was shaking, and you know it kind of hit you in the chest a little bit. I bet everyone who was at closer viewing areas was just absolutely blown away and overwhelmed by their senses.
Josh,
right now,
talk about that further, that feeling that you have. You know, when I've been there for a shuttle launch, it's really just almost impossible to describe, but do your best. You were talking about that rattling that you feel in your chest and on your head as well.
Yeah, it's you know, it's something that's louder. The best way that I could describe it is if you're at a really, really loud dance club next to the bass, and it's just hitting you, and you know that's the closest I've ever felt. But this was even more so, and it was incredible to watch. I'm incredibly excited. This is the first time I've ever seen something like that, and the Delta IV Heavy is actually the most powerful rocket that's in use today. The most powerful of all time was the Saturn V. And the Delta IV Heavy, it could put a semi-truck in orbit. There's 2.3 million pounds of thrust coming out of the bottom of that thing. And so we felt every bit of that.
And you're miles away from the launch pad. That's the remarkable thing about it. You think about it, can you imagine being right there at the launch pad as well?
That's how much force we're talking about
and
here.
6 minutes into the flight, Josh, they're supposed to jettison 3 service module fairing panels that protect the service module and provide structural support for the crew module and the launch abort system during the heaviest loads of the launch and ascent. The launch abort system itself will follow seconds later.
We've been watching the coverage right here provided by NASA. We've seen some of the parts of Orion break off there, and they're supposed to do that as it continues to rise into orbit. So it'll make those 2 full orbits around the planet, and we are watching even more transition. There's those panels that Aaron was just talking about a few moments ago, we believe, breaking off there and continuing to fall back to the Earth. And once again, this is history in the making that you're watching here along with us this morning. And Josh Barrett, our space reporter, has been experiencing down there. Josh, this is just a side note. I know it's your birthday. Josh, I can't think of a better way to celebrate your birthday than watching this historic moment down there and feeling this, as you just said, in your chest when liftoff happened.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of joking this morning, and I was saying, hey, NASA, the only thing I want for my birthday is to see Orion fly. But, you know, after seeing that, I'm dead serious. That was incredible. And I'm standing here watching the live stream that you guys are, that's on their new digital clock. I'm watching these fairings drift back to our beautiful blue planet. And Orion is on its first journey. We've been talking about, the next step is getting this on the rocket that the Marshall Space Flight Center is developing, the Space Launch System. And after that, people are going to get on that. And it's incredible to be here and see this historic moment. And, you know, when maybe 15 years down the line from now, I'm watching the coverage of the first people step onto the red planet, I'm going to think back to today and just how big this is.
Don't you know so many people will, and United Launch Alliance has got to be celebrating big time right now, because guess what? Our Decatur rocket performed beautifully.
It's up there right now.
All the eyes of the world are watching, you know, and the Tennessee Valley has so much to do with the success of this test launch that's happening today. And what they're doing, it's unmanned. I guess we should probably repeat that for anybody who's just tuning in. There's nobody actually in the Orion capsule, but eventually, someday, they will be. And they're just going to be gathering all kinds of data to improve, if improvements need to be made, and figure out just how much difficulty this space capsule is having in this test flight 2 times around the Earth.
And everybody just needs to know just how important this is to North Alabama. Your friends and neighbors, your aunts, your uncles, and your brothers and sisters, they all worked on this rocket. The fingerprints of North Alabama is now getting ready to orbit the Earth. And when you stop and think about that for a few moments, it really brings it home of how special this community is, that we are able to move the world forward with these kinds of inventions and these kinds of innovations that really help move the space race forward here. And this is just the first step. Soon we're going to be talking about manned missions, and as Josh mentioned just a few moments ago, sometime in the 2030s, missions to Mars. We've got a couple of engineers here in the studio with us right now. I've been watching them from across the room. They are all smiles, everybody. They are smiling like kids at a circus right now. They are so excited to see this, and they are just a couple of thousands of people that have been working on this for years now, building up to this moment, and it is a reality. Orion is orbiting right now. You're taking live looks from that capsule as it continues to orbit the Earth.
Yeah, it's going to reach its peak altitude 3 hours into the flight. At 3,600 miles in altitude, Earth is going to fill 60% of the field of view through Orion's window. And then there's going to be a splashdown, as Josh mentioned, hopefully at 10:29 Central Time. That's going to be 600 miles west of Baja, California.
And we'll have coverage of that right here on Way 31 as well. Let's go ahead and check in right now with Jillian Pavlica. She's in the Way 31 Digital Content Center. And Jillian, I'm sure, is watching this on Twitter and social media. It's all a buzz.
It is all a buzz, and you just get goosebumps. I mean, reading the tweets, seeing this live, I mean, goosebumps, and I'm virtually speechless too, and I just watched it on TV. I mean, this is a big moment. A lot of people down there in Cape Canaveral having a lot of trouble, though, tweeting pictures because they can't get a good connection. So there is a lot of difficulty there. But there's a girl I follow. Her name's Abigail Harrison. She's 17 years old, and she hopes to be the first astronaut to Mars. So this is a huge day for her. This is really big. She tweeted, and it's a go. I can't even explain my pride and excitement. The U.S. is on its way to Mars. It's up to each of us to carry this ahead. And, that tweet itself almost gave me goosebumps because it really talks about the future and where we're going and what we want to do. But, there's so much going on. Orion spacecraft tweeting Orion is in orbit. The Delta IV Heavy second stage provides its attitude, control, and propulsion. The launch abort system and spacecraft adapter jettison panels have separated. So the first two objectives so far, very successful. So a lot of great things. Orion spacecraft will be tweeting all through this orbit. So a lot of cool things are happening. Orion traveling at almost 14,000 miles an hour. Can you imagine that? This thing is flying. It is so cool, and you can see the pictures of it right there. There's just so much going on, and a lot of people tweeting their excitement and what they're hoping to see and hoping to come from this. I mean, this is a huge moment for the United States and the world and, the space industry. I mean, it's so amazing to see it. And, the splashdown is going to be another milestone here in a couple of hours. And just an amazing sight to see. I'm so excited. We've had our fingers crossed for 2 days now, and it's finally happened, and it is just so awesome.
Yeah, once you see that countdown clock get past the 2-minute mark.
You kind of know it's going.
You're really hoping that it will. Doesn't mean that it couldn't pause. We couldn't pause for the liftoff like we did yesterday multiple times, But don't you know, all the people here in the Tennessee Valley are so excited to see this and the apparent success of it. And that's what they're doing now, measuring and looking and seeing that everything is going just fine, because the safety of astronauts that will eventually go onto Mars is very, very important. And that will be probably the first thing that they're going to be looking at to make sure that the Orion capsule will be as safe as possible. And if something goes wrong, that they can do something about it to get these astronauts back to Earth safely.
Gathering data. That is what's most important right now about this mission, is gathering all the necessary data. And when you think about the distance this thing covered in the matter of about 10 minutes, I mean, sometimes you can't move but a mile on University Drive in, in 10 minutes.
Exactly.
And this thing is already in space and orbiting the Earth in less than that. That's what we do here in the Tennessee Valley. That's what a lot of your friends and neighbors do. They help make this thing happen. So just an amazing moment as we continue to watch these live pictures coming from Orion as it is orbiting the Earth, it would seem, at this point, and will continue to do so until splashdown a little bit later today around 10:30 near Baja, California, as they are standing by out there to receive it, I'm sure, and getting ready for this next phase. And once it comes back down, boy, does the work really begin, because now they need to analyze all that data and make sure we are ready for the next manned missions that are going to be happening in the next few years. So this is just part one of an amazing journey that they hope will land people on Mars at some point.
Yeah, Marshall Space Flight Center and numerous Valley contractors built nearly 1,000 parts for Orion, including that ring that connects it to the Delta IV rocket. The Delta IV rocket, of course, created right there at United Launch Alliance in Decatur. So go ULA. We're so proud of your mission. You're doing great. And Marshall also did a lot of the testing for the launch. Charles Bolden even visited here back in March, building up to the excitement of this Orion launch. They're going to be testing Orion's parachutes, their avionics, and test the launch abort system. And as we mentioned, all the systems have to perform flawlessly to be able to guarantee or do the best possible job of guaranteeing a safe, successful mission in the future on to Mars. 4,000 degrees. That's what the Orion is going to feel. That's why the heat shield is so very important. We're going to go re-rack our tape here and take a look again at this excitement. I don't know about y'all, but I felt emotionally overwhelmed. Chill bumps. You know, you just tears welling up, you know, even just watching it here on television, just because you think about all of the people, all of the families right here in Huntsville and in the Tennessee Valley that have done something, have built something, have created something, invented something to make it possible for the Orion to launch.
Let's go back to Josh Barrett. He is with SpaceAlabama.com, and he's down there on Cape Canaveral right now. Josh, talk about what you're experiencing.
The crowds are still here. Everyone just kind of seems to be, you know, in awe. There's a few astronauts around me, and they're, you know, they have been on the space shuttle, and they're really just looking forward to this next step in human exploration of space. Now, let me talk a little bit about what a big deal this is. So for the past 40 or so years, we have hung out in low Earth orbit. The International Space Station is a great program, and they're doing a lot of science on there that will push us further. And that's one half of the equation, and the other half is hardware like this, hardware like Orion. And like I heard Aaron talking about, that, you know, just making sure that people are going to be okay to get on that thing and go to places that we've never visited. We keep talking about Mars, but there's a lot of other stuff where Orion can take us. It can take us back to the moon if we feel so inclined. It can take us to the asteroid belt. You know, Armageddon is science fiction, but it's close to being science reality. And we can have people going to an asteroid and touching it and grabbing it and, you know, pulling it back into Earth's orbit for study, potentially later down the line, mining them in space. This stuff sounds crazy, but what you're seeing is literally science fiction becoming science reality. And I'm a huge science fiction guy, and you know, I'm like, my hands are shaking a little bit. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and so this is just the first step, and you've been telling us about this, Josh. What they're trying to do is just collect data so they can improve and then move on to SLS that will launch Orion. Exactly.
As we mentioned, you know, the North Alabama has our fingerprints all over this, because you're exactly right. What is next is the SLS, and that will eventually be the most powerful rocket that we have ever created. And that's a big deal. It takes a lot. You saw yesterday just how much goes into a single launch. Now think about building that rocket, designing that rocket, making sure it can withstand you know, all of the pressures of deep space flight. You know, I talked earlier to Ginger Barnes, who's building the core stage. That program is headquartered in Huntsville, and you know, this whole program is really due to a lot of the expertise that comes from the North Alabama area. All of the people who worked so hard, and now what's next? They will continue working hard, and you know, I hope if building the most powerful rocket in the world isn't motivation enough, I really hope that this lights the fire even more. And, you know, I hope the public takes note of this and can really tell that we're doing something cool. We're trying to do something that we've never done before, and that's a really big deal.
Yeah, the United States needs to be at the forefront of space exploration. I think a lot of people believe that, you know, and this has always started with the space program and NASA. And so a lot of folks in America are feeling a lot of pride over this, that, you know, the United States is really breaking ground.
Exactly. And this will be an international effort. Actually, on the SLS, the European Space Agency Airbus is building the service module. That will be the thing that rides directly under Orion. So we're already working with our partners overseas, but as Charles Bolden, the NASA administrator, said in front of the Delta IV rocket the other day, that we need to be the nation at the forefront. We need to be the nation pointing and telling everyone else, let's go. And today we did that.
What do you think Werner von Braun is saying right now while he's watching from heaven? What do you think he is saying to Huntsville?
Well, one thing I heard about him is he just wanted to make sure his rockets worked. And the North Alabama Decatur-built rocket, it worked. It did its job. Right now, its job is pretty much done. The booster cores have fallen off of Orion by now, so So it did its job, and I'm sure Dr. Von Braun is extremely proud of that. And a lot of that, he was the first to really pioneer liquid rockets. So we've talked a lot about liquid rockets. What that means is that there's liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen that combine and just really blast out the back of a rocket, pushing it up into the air. And he was the first to do that. And so this is really his legacy. This is Huntsville's legacy. This is, you know, it's just quite a spectacle.
And it's just the beginning as well. I was talking with one NASA official yesterday, and they were telling me that this is really akin to a scrimmage to our college football fans here in the area. This is like the A-Day game or the Auburn game in the spring. That's all this really is. They just want to see what works, because some things you cannot simulate, some things you have to put it in the air to see it happen, and that's what we just witnessed.
Exactly, and you know, we've been talking a lot about the numbers and stuff that Orion is going to have to withstand, and it's incredibly hard to come back from deep space. You know, getting there is one thing, but coming back and having people safely, that's another thing. When Orion splashes down, after it makes it through the atmosphere, actually, I want to mention real quick, because this is very cool. It's going to be moving so quickly that a lot of people think air friction causes the heat, and it's actually the pressure. The pressure ionizes the air around it, creating plasma around Orion. Now, that's how fast this thing is moving, 20,000 miles an hour. Once it makes it through the atmosphere, it'll slow down a little bit, and then it's going to take 11 parachutes. It's just going to keep firing parachute after parachute after parachute to slow it down before it's going to rest safely in the Pacific Ocean, where the U.S. Navy is waiting on it.
Can you believe it's going to splash down at 20 miles per hour? When you think about the amount of power that is, and the heat of 4,000 degrees, and to just gently land at 20 miles per hour in the water. So peaceful.
Josh, enjoy it down there. I know we'll be checking back with you a little bit later because this is, we're not done here with this. We are still just beginning with this. So this is going to be a fantastic ride that NASA and the United States and the whole world is really on, and the fingerprints of North Alabama are all over it.
So proud of the Tennessee Valley and the contribution made in this historic launch today of Orion. Stay with us. Wave 31 First News Morning. We'll be right back.
A wise man once said that common sense was genius dressed in its work clothes. We get that here in Alabama, a place where good sense is more valuable than just about anything.
He doesn't have sense to get in out of the rain.
It's the way we were raised, doing the little things, the right things, the simple things, the things that just make good sense, like making the most of your money by keeping it right here in Alabama with Family Security Creighton, where your money is always working for you. Family Security.
If this is your wreck, you need a check. If this is your wreck, you need a check. If this is your wreck, you definitely need a check. Hurt in a wreck and need a check? The faster you call us, the faster we can get you your money. Do you know about all the money you're entitled to? We do, and we'll work hard to get you all the money you deserve, and even harder to keep you out of the courtroom. Hurt in a wreck and need a check? I'm Attorney Charles Pittman. Call us at 533-5000.
Call 533-5000.
Are you ready for a kitchen makeover? If it's wood, cabinetry, granite, and tile, can make your dreams come true. We do the work ourselves with no middleman, passing the savings and quality on to you.
For over 50 years, your neighbors have trusted If It's Wood, cabinets, granite, and tile.
They were very helpful, and we're very pleased with what we got. It looks and works great.
If it's wood, cabinetry, granite, and tile, contact us today for a free estimate, 536-2019 or ifitswood.net.
The Braggs of Huntsville Fall Sale. Save up to 50% throughout the store on inspired designs with timeless appeal. The Fall Sale at Braggs.
The magic of the season comes to life at Gaylord Opryland's A Country Christmas, November 14th through January 3rd. Enjoy magnificent holiday decor and entertainment, including the Radio City Christmas Spectacular, returning to Nashville for its final year. Ice is back, featuring 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, along with new events including snow tubing, outdoor ice skating, and a Christmas dinner show starring Restless Heart. Visit Christmas@GaylordOpryland.com to plan your holiday getaway today.
During Hyundai Holidays, get the Elantra, one of 3 Hyundai models to receive a J.D. Power Award for initial quality. It's sure to light up your holiday.
The Way 31 traffic report is brought to you by Sinyard, Timberlake and League. You're watching Way 31 First News Morning in high definition.
Good morning. I'm Erin Dacey. Welcome back.
And I'm Justin McFarland. We just watched history around 25 minutes ago as the Orion made that takeoff. And we have Lori Provin here with us right now from Teledyne Brown.
Teledyne Brown's got to be proud right now, right? Have you heard from your coworkers yet?
I haven't yet. I silenced my phone, so I haven't yet.
So exciting.
And Alan and I were so engrossed over there watching it, and it's just an amazing feeling, and it's just great to be part of this team that has pulled this off. And you know, those first 5-6 minutes are so critical, the most critical time, and so much can go wrong. And boy, it was beautiful. They did a great job.
So have we gotten past the point of danger, or have we've got more to go?
There can always be complications, of course, and certainly the descent is also a tricky part of the mission. But launch is always just a little. You hold your breath a little bit there.
Lori, I saw you with 2 minutes to go. I saw you just light up like a Christmas tree, because I guess you knew at that point, past 2 minutes, we're really going.
It's usually pretty good past 2 minutes. I mean, of course, anything can happen.
Sure.
Usually when you get 2 minutes, and so so I couldn't stop grinning. I think I said to you, this is why I don't play poker.
no poker face for Lori, that's for sure. So what is Teledyne Brown doing at this point, now that the launch has gone?
So as I believe you mentioned before, there's going to be so much data coming back. There's something like 1,200 sensors on the capsule, and so we'll have to go through the data. The data will be analyzed and then fed back to us, and then we'll make any kind of adjustments that might be necessary once that data is analyzed.
So you're not able to see this real time, right? They'll have to process it first, and then it comes back to Teledyne
because we do the
Brown.
manufacturing and fabrication. So this will go back to the engineers and the analysts and the technicians, and then they'll analyze the data and they'll say, well, you know, we want to tweak here, or this is good, we don't need to tweak, and then we'll follow their lead on that in the fabrication process.
Can you help me out with this? I mean, obviously we see Orion there as we're watching the picture from a little bit earlier this morning. It's whole there. It's been breaking off and falling back down to the earth. I imagine some of these parts will have to be built all over again, and so these are just mathematical things you guys put together. You build these parts, but you want to make sure these are exact so you can replicate this yet again, because I imagine all of this has been damaged now in the launch and can't be used. So this is just, like I was talking to a NASA official yesterday, a scrimmage, so we can replicate this yet again in the future, so we can make this part and go again.
Right. There are some parts that can be reclaimed, and then there are obviously the capsule, for example.
Sure.
You know, it'll splash down and we'll reclaim it. But then there are other parts that cannot, and then you have to put new ones on board. But as far as the rocket goes, the Delta IV is a pretty robust and pretty reliable rocket. This is, I believe, its eighth mission, the Heavy. It's a whole family of Delta IV rockets, and so the Heavy, this is its 8th mission, and so they're getting used to this. They know how to do this, and so they know what they have to look for and what they have to replace and not replace.
Okay.
And you were pointing out the very tippy top.
Yes, the launch abort system.
Yeah. Explain to us what that is and what Teledyne Brown's role is in that, and what you'll be doing once you get the data.
Right. Teledyne Brown did some systems engineering work for that, and by that I mean we did things like systems studies, we did engineering analysis, we did trade assessments, and what we'll look for, and after about 6 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes, it jettisons off, and it's a very important piece of the rocket because it protects the capsule during the ascent, and then it also, if anything should go wrong during those critical first 5-6 minutes with the rocket, it can jettison off and take the capsule and crew to a safe place. And so it looked like it performed really well. You look to see the fairings off of it fall off, and it looked like it performed well, and they did test the jettison motors. So we'll look to see what the information, the data that comes back from that.
I've always thought it was fascinating. How do people all over the country manage to work together even though you're in different locations. That's fascinating to me.
It is absolutely incredible. The launch abort system work was done at Marshall Space Flight Center, work was done at Langley, and all kinds of different places as well as the whole vehicle and the whole crew capsule. And it's a logistics miracle.
It is.
You know? I was talking with one guy yesterday. He told me 47 different states participated in this.
Yes, that's true. That is absolutely true. So you can imagine what kind of coordination, and that's why, so kudos to Lockheed and to NASA and to ULA for bringing all of this together. And of course the Navy later on when we reclaim the capsule, all of that has to come together. And it's just, that's why you just are like, oh, I'm so proud of the team. It's
so much of it, you know, comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley, and that's such an important source of pride for us in Huntsville.
It really is, and this is, you know, without using a cliche, the next chapter of human spaceflight. This was the thing von Braun, as you mentioned, his rocket team were looking for. And to know that Huntsville is once again at the epicenter, and for companies like mine, Teledyne has literally been around for 60 years, and so we've been involved in every NASA major initiative since its inception. So to be there again with the rest of Huntsville and the rest of companies like Arcata and Lockheed and Boeing, wow, what a privilege for us, really.
Just gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
I mean, this puts us back in the space race, essentially. I mean, because there was a moment there when the shuttle program ended that we really didn't know what was going to happen for this next generation of space, or if there would be a next generation of space there for a small moment. So to see something like this today really has to feel a sense of completion for you guys.
Absolutely. Of course, we don't right now have a capacity to take astronauts out. We have a commercial capacity to take astronauts, but NASA decided to refocus and decided to focus on the long game and getting back into deep space. So we have low Earth orbit, we have transportation to low Earth orbit, but it was getting out beyond that so we could get to Mars or get to an asteroid. And that's what NASA has focused on so well and concentrated on. And I think this just national will, and it is such a source of national pride, and I think this will reinvigorate people's interest in NASA and interest in space exploration.
Why is Mars so important, or why is going to these asteroids important?
Well, we can certainly learn a lot. When you go to an asteroid, you can learn a lot about the formation of the universe. And it also, going to an asteroid teaches us how we can exist on another planet or another celestial body. So we can take samples, bring samples back from the asteroid, understand it more, and then what does it take to live on a place like Mars? Because it's not like the International Space Station. You can't resupply it. It's a long journey. And so you have to have a rocket like the SLS that can take a lot with you, and we have to understand the effects on not only the materials of the rocket and the capsule, but also how does it affect human beings, that long duration in space, and it can have deteriorating effects on the human body. So all of those things have to be studied, and it's tests like that today that get us to that next step.
Unbelievable. I'm so proud of Teledyne Brown.
Oh, thank you.
And of all of our companies here, United Launch Alliance,
and my friend Alan, and
congratulations,
really. Thank you, and ULA, go ULA.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And thanks for having us here today.
Congratulations. You and Alan both from Arcata have provided such good information for us and for our viewers.
All right.
Let's check in with Jillian Pavlica. She's in the Way 31 Digital Content Center, and she's been following everything that's happening on social media. I'm sure it's on fire.
Social media is abuzz this morning with all kinds of activity. People have been tweeting at very high rates, and it's all been about Orion. It is now orbiting the Earth even as we speak. So, Jillian, tell us about what's going on social media right now.
There's just so many cool things. I really don't know where to start. I know there's some really cool things. I wish, you know, the cell service down in Cape Canaveral was a little bit better, so I could get some pictures from those who are actually down there. But we're going to check in with ULA, and you can see Orion jettisoned its 3-section aerodynamic fairing a few minutes after liftoff. Some really cool views. Now, ULA actually tweeted something pretty interesting to me, at least. The second stage engine restart is in at approximately 90 minutes. Until then, the upper stage is in what they call barbecue roll, or BBQ. Q roll. So pretty interesting. And that's to evenly heat and cool the vehicle. The second stage cutoff went as planned. So a lot of cool things. I want to check in with my Twitter account here. The Adler Planetarium. They tweeted something that was really, really neat. Let's see if I can bring this up for you. Their youngest visitor was there today, and look at, let's see if I can zoom in, and she's wearing a badge, and it says, I am a rocket scientist. It's people like this that really, this impacts a lot, because if she, you know, her dream is to be a rocket scientist, kids that age, that's what they want to do, set out and do it. This plays a huge role for you, because if you want to be the next astronaut in Mars, this is the step one of that mission. So a lot of really cool stuff. Ryan Law tweeted, I may not be an astronaut or someone who works there, but I'm one happy space geek. I'm ready to see Orion take us to Mars, and I can definitely agree with you. I am not an astronaut. I'm really not too space smart. I know a little bit, but a lot of exciting stuff. Space geeks everywhere are very, very excited. You can just tell from Twitter, hashtag Orion, hashtag Journey to Mars. It's an exciting day for people around the world, guys.
Thank you, Jillian, and thank goodness weather did not cause some problems. Yesterday, the wind delayed the launch.
We were getting awfully close to those maximum wind speeds out there near Cape Canaveral. Thankfully, though, the rocket is fine, spacecraft's fine. As we head towards our splashdown site, things are looking good. We can always expect that from California, right? Higher pressure is just settling off of the Baja of California. Higher pressure suppresses the air, allows the sun to shine. We may see a few high-level clouds. Otherwise, winds are going to roll in from the northwest at a very light speed, and wind height or wave height will be about 4 to 5 feet when the spacecraft splashes down. So all in all, the weather forecast looks fine. We shouldn't see any problems as it lands closer to the Baja of California. So that's good news to hear.
All right, thank you very much, Liz. We do appreciate it. Let's go back now to SpaceAlabama.com's Josh Barrett. He is on the phone right now down in Cape Canaveral. And Josh, have you caught your breath yet?
Yeah, we're now 36 minutes and 25 seconds after launch, so we've got about 4 hours left, a little under 4 hours, and so this is a bit of downtime for everyone here. You know, I think most people have kind of moved back in, and they're packing up and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, very, very eventful morning, and now we're just kind of waiting right now.
Have you been able to speak with any of our North Alabama representatives from companies there to get their reaction of what they think how the launch went?
Oh, it's just been so crazy. I haven't had the opportunity to really talk to anybody yet. Been talking to you guys more than anyone, but
so at 10:29, Josh, that's when the splashdown's supposed to happen?
Yeah, 10:29 Eastern time, so 9:30 back in Huntsville. No, I was wrong. It's 11:29.
11:29
so
Eastern,
10:29
so 10:29 back here in the Valley, as we'll be watching for that closely. And Josh, you said the U.S. Navy will be going out to rescue this, and I imagine this is not a routine mission for them.
No, actually, earlier this year they had to train for it. They actually fitted one of their ships with this special crane that can pull it out of the water. And I imagine right now they're getting ready. They might start scrambling drones and helicopters. I know they have 2 or 3 helicopters that are going to be patrolling the area when it comes down. But they're waiting for it. They're going to spot it, pull up to it, get it out of the ocean, and then, like we've been talking about, Orion right now, instead of people, it is just loaded with all sorts of data collectors, and they're working hard right now, getting all the important telemetry data and all that sort of stuff in order for us to make this thing human ready.
And 4,000 degrees, the temperatures the capsule's going to feel. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a lot of heat.
And you wonder, how in the world can a human survive that? These heat shields must be pretty darn good.
Exactly, and actually that heat shield Orion is going to come back sometime next year, and it's going to come to Huntsville to the Marshall Center, and they're going to peel that thermal protection system off of Orion. And then Orion's going to go make its trip to Kennedy and I think Langley next. But Marshall is going to be responsible for looking at the heat shield, seeing how it stood up, and actually how a lot of the reason why it can stand up is because it's actually designed to melt and chip and peel away on reentry to get a lot of that heat away from the capsule and away from the sensors, and later on away from our astronauts who would be hurtling back down to Earth. I couldn't even imagine what it would feel like to come back to Earth in something like that.
Wow, well, 1,200 sensors on that bad boy right now, circling the Earth. A lot of data to crunch. Josh, thank you so much for your continued coverage down there in Cape Canaveral.
Stay with us. It is 6:45 on an historic day for the Tennessee Valley. The Orion has launched. We'll be right back with more coverage.
At David Christopher's in Sheffield, you'll find a phenomenal selection of floral designs, home decor, boutique clothing, and jewelry, as well as David's unique designs. Our friendly staff and great prices make David Christopher's a Christmas shopping destination.
Don't miss the NEACA Christmas Show at the VBC South Hall, December 5th, 6th, and 7th. This annual Tennessee Valley tradition is absolutely free, and parking is only $5 under the South Hall. With approximately 200 crafters in attendance, you're sure to find the perfect gift or decoration. $20 gift certificates are given away every 2 hours, good at any crafter's booth. NEACA is giving almost $1 million to local charities, so be a part of it. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, December 5th, 6th, and 7th at the VBC.
You may see yourself using artificial tears often, but what you don't see might hurt you. Even close up, you won't see the kind of inflammation that reduces tear production, which can be caused by a disease called chronic dry eye. This calls for prescription treatment, Restasis, cyclosporin ophthalmic emulsion. With continued use, twice a day, every day, Restasis helps increase your eye's natural ability to produce tears, which may be reduced by inflammation due to chronic dry eye. Restasis did not increase tear production in patients using anti-inflammatory eye drops or tear duct plugs. To help avoid eye injury and contamination, do not touch the vial tip to your eye or other surfaces. The most common side effect is a temporary burning sensation. Ask your eye doctor about Restasis.
High-performance tires for your car or SUV out of reach? Not at College Tire. Get the tires you want for your ride up to 50% off the price of new. Name brand high-tread pull-offs with a 30-day replacement guarantee. Save a bundle at College Tire, North Memorial Parkway.
Hello, I'm Steve Hobbs.
And I'm Kendra Hobbs.
Welcome to Hobbs Jewelers.
I'm Anna, manager here in the Cater Store. Come by and see us for all the wonderful lines we carry at Hobbs Jewelers.
I'm Jane. Come see the Hearts on Fire collection.
I'm Beverly. Come see me for all your Tacori needs.
I'm Mary Now. Come into our store and see our beautiful line of Bahan jewelry.
Unforgettable moment starts with Pandora. Come and see me, Terry Beth.
I'm Gwen. Come and see our large selection of eleganza.
And remember, at Hobbs Jewelers, we want to be your jewelry store.
David Christopher brings his award-winning style to all he does at David Christopher's on South Montgomery Avenue in Sheffield. David Christopher's, a family-owned business that provides great products and friendly customer service.
Civics, clearance priced.
It is 6:47 and history has been made. Orion launched. So exciting. Alan McCabe is from Arcata. He's the Vice President of Program Development and Operations there. So basically he's a general contractor for the Orion mission and going to find manufacturers right here in the Tennessee Valley. One of them not even 2 miles down the road.
That's correct. Yeah, it's very interesting. I think, Huntsville's really known for their engineering background, their capabilities, but I think really people are surprised by the manufacturing capabilities we have here. Teledyne Brown, General Products out in Brownsboro that you mentioned, they actually Microcraft up in Tullahoma, Tennessee. So it's really amazing. I think we focus a lot on the engineering, but there's another component, and the manufacturing is very big because a lot of these parts are very critical to the success of this test flight.
Alan, how long ago did Orion cross your desk for the first time?
Probably about 5 or 6 years ago.
Wow.
That's when it crossed my desk. Yeah, it's been a long-term process here. I mean, it takes a long time to get together, and as you talked about, getting the suppliers and the materials together. And then, as Laurie talked about, you get all these parts built and supplies together across the United States, 48 different states that have been involved in it. And then you got to get them all together. They had installation and integration in Denver. And then those parts were sent down to Michoud in Louisiana to do some more integration. And then finally down at the Cape for the final installation and integration that goes into place. So you're talking about a lot of components, a lot of small parts, a lot of big parts that's got to be put together.
This has got to be exciting for you, working on a project for so long and working with the space industry. Describe your feelings when you're watching this and when you watched it live with us right here in the studio at Way 31.
You know, it's that up to the actual point of launch is that anxious feeling. You know, you want everything to go right. You just don't want that one thing to go wrong. And then once you kind of get past that, you know, Justin got you get those goosebumps, that excitement. You know, you're watching this thing take off. And this is a culmination of a number of years of work for a lot of people, you know, like I said, all across the United States. So that's a national pride. I mean, we're all excited about this, and it's exciting to hear these young people talk about, you know, I want to be that next astronaut. I want to be that next scientist. You know, that's what we want to be able to do. You know, there's got to be that next generation to carry on, because you're talking 2030, you know, before we're able to get to Mars. You know, so it's not people of my age, it's the people, you know, that are in high school today that's going to be going out to there. And so that's really exciting to hear those type of things come about. So,
national pride and Tennessee Valley pride.
I definitely, a lot of Tennessee. I am very proud of living here in Tennessee Valley. I mean, it's unbelievable to live in a community that's got pride not only in NASA, but the defense. I mean, this is a tremendous community, and definitely this show today kind of shows this. I mean, this is the commitment that we as a community put on to support what's going on. Not only in NASA, but in the defense area also.
Well, congratulations are in order. Congratulations, sir. I know 5 or 6 years working on one thing. I mean, my goodness, it's got to be quite a day for you to see this thing go up like this. So congratulations to you and your team. Well,
thank you. And, you know, really, congratulations go to the engineers and the technicians all over the United States that put this together, and the people down there supporting the launch operations.
Unbelievable. We'll be looking for information now, data coming from Orion. And I guess folks, then when manufacturing comes around again of remaking some of these parts and improving, you'll be looking to that data to find out what we can do to improve, if anything.
Hey, that's correct.
Thank you so much, Alan from Arcata. We appreciate that.
Let's check in with Liz Cosgrove right now. She's got your weather forecast.
Yes, and we are picking up on some showers off into the westernmost section of Lauderdale County, including Waterloo, pushing into Lawrence County and Waynes County. As we head into northeast Alabama, we're also picking up on a few lighter showers than what we saw earlier, heading closer to the section, Pisgah, into DeKalb and Jackson County. Those showers will continue to push off to the north and east today, but shower activity isn't done for the day. Our next disturbance is going to continue to pump in that moisture from the south and also cause our temperatures to warm up today. Right now, we're starting off into the upper 50s, and that's how it will be for the bus stop forecast, dealing with a few stray showers once again into northeast Alabama, southern Tennessee, and off into the shoals. By this afternoon, more of those showers will become isolated, and those southerly winds will help warm us up into the upper 60s and lower 70s. Rain showers will be the heaviest as we head throughout the overnight hours. This is when the cold front of the system is going to roll on through, and as it does so, we could pick up on possibly 3/4 of an inch to an inch of rainfall, possibly hearing a couple rumbles of thunder too. The rain, the heaviest rain, will be around 2 a.m. all the way until 10 a.m. Saturday, and then we'll start to clear on out just in time for the parade with just a few lingering showers by noon Saturday. Let's send it back over to Aaron and Justin.
Thank you very much, Liz. It is 6:52 on an historic Friday morning Orion launch. Can you believe it?
I can believe it. I've been watching it, and I've been ready for it, and thank goodness it's up and gone. We'll be right back right here on Wait 31 First News Morning as you take a look at Orion at liftoff, courtesy of NASA. Look at that shot.
We're growing more than ever
with a new poultry house. Good things happen out here in the country when you start with Alabama Farm Credit. Homes, land, operations, and equipment. Your one-stop, full-service lender.
Crispy bacon. Canadian bacon. Pepper bacon. That's 3 kinds of bacon times 1 pizza, which equals a bazillion compliments, roughly. Bring home a large Papa Murphy's Bacon Pizza, just $10. Or try it as a fresh pan for just $1 more. Fresh made, fresh baked, fresh craving. Papa Murphy's. Love at 425 degrees.
Dashing through the snow.
It's a North Alabama holiday tradition. Non-stop Christmas music on Light 96.9.
For all your homeowners insurance needs, contact State Farm agent Tim Roberts in Huntsville.
The Sheriff's Lone Star National Finals Rodeo reserved seats go on sale Friday at the BBC. Great stocking stuffers. Buy at the BBC box office or at Ticketmaster.com. February 6 and 7, the Sheriff's Lone Star National Finals Rodeo on sale Friday.
buy any new Chevy at invoice. And get $1,000 in Christmas cash from Champion Chevrolet. Right now, when you buy a new Chevy at invoice, you keep the rebate. And Champion will give you up to $1,000 in Christmas cash. Invoice prices are clearly posted. We have hundreds of vehicles. You'll save thousands of dollars. And Costco members, you get supplier pricing plus the Christmas cash plus up to a $600 cash card. This is the greatest sale we've ever had. Champion Chevrolet, Highway 72 in Athens or championathens.com.
We finished the season with a good harvest.
Good things happen out here in the country when you start with Alabama Farm Credit. Homes, land, operations, and equipment. Your one-stop, full-service lender.
Every car at Jerry Dempson Honda, clearance priced.
5 minutes of 7 a.m. Let's check back in with Wave 31's Jillian Pavlica. She's in the Digital Content Center.
A couple cool things I want to show you guys this morning. The Space and Rocket Center having that big launch party down there. So a lot of exciting stuff. Now you can see the crowd definitely not as big as yesterday, but those people there were definitely excited. Look at the liftoff on that giant screen. Could you imagine seeing that on that big screen down there? Very, very cool as Orion has lifted off.
Fist in the air.
Yeah, you know, a lot of cool stuff. Space Camp, a set of Space Camp USA patches and medals on board NASA Orion. So very, very cool. Of course, that's her Twitter handle there. So cool things going on in the space world this morning. A lot of things to talk about. The other thing I want to talk about is this FlightAware. FlightAware typically tracks planes and things like that. The cool thing is NASA has set up a track for one of their drones that will oh, there it goes. It just updated. they set up a FlightAware for one of their drones that will get some of the data there from Orion. So some really cool stuff going on. I have retweeted this link if you would like to take a look at that FlightAware and track it yourself. You can follow me on Twitter at JillianWay31. Some really neat stuff going on this morning. I mean, there's so much to talk about. There are so many pictures. But again, there's people down at the Kennedy Space Center and Cape Canaveral having a lot of trouble posting those pictures on Facebook. But of course, we have seen that launch multiple times. So really, really cool stuff going on this morning. I still am like taken aback. Like this really just happened. So it's so cool. So a lot of
build up to it. Yeah, after yesterday's scrub launch. Let's go back to Cape Canaveral. Speaking of that, and check in with SpaceAlabama.com's Josh Barrett, who witnessed history right there in person. I can't imagine getting to be there, Josh.
Yeah, it was really something, and I've been looking forward to this day for weeks. Actually, Tuesday, like we said earlier, today is my birthday, and Tuesday I was like, all right, December 4th, December 4th is the day. I'm so excited. I was like, oh man, December 5th is my birthday, and the launch also happened to concur with it. So it's just
you'll never forget this day.
All sorts of that kind of stuff. But you know, it's really cool here. I actually just spoke with a NASA astronaut, Katie Coleman. She's served twice on the International Space Station, and you know, she was just really excited about that. And she's currently still active in the astronaut corps. And I asked her if she had any plans to ride the spaceship, and she said she signed up, but, you know, since she's been in space before, she thinks the people that ride Orion is kind of the next generation of astronauts, the newer people that are just kind of getting in right now. So I'm sure it's really exciting to be a part of that. I couldn't even imagine what it's like. I also spoke to her. Like I said, this was my first launch, and it was just incredible to see the amount of power and everything that went into this launch. And I asked her what it's like to actually be on top of something like that. And she said it's easier being in there because you have control, but when you're just watching, it's tough. You know, you all you can do is watch and hope for the best. So some really interesting stuff she was talking about.
Well, Josh said he felt it in his chest when it took off there, and my goodness, what a vantage point that you had, Josh.
Even more powerful than a shuttle.
Absolutely.
You know, and heavier too.
Josh, we appreciate it, and of course, Splashdown is still to come. We're estimating that around 10:29 this morning, and we'll have complete coverage right here on Wave 31 First News. We'll break into programming if necessary. Don't be afraid of that. Tune in right here. We'll have the coverage for you.
10:29. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hairstyles provided by Teravacho Salon Spa, where the difference is in the detail. And Roosters. Roosters is just like your father's barbershop, only better.
I'm the GOAT. Time. Gotta go to University Hyundai. Get up to $5,000 over Kelly Blue Book fair market value for any trade at University Hyundai. New 2014 Hyundai Accents are only $99 per month. Only at University Hyundai.
At the Wood Floor Store in Florence, we know how important your home is to you. That's why we guide you through the process of choosing, designing, and installing just the right flooring for your home. Whether it's carpet, tile, or the finest in wood flooring, we build a lasting relationship with our customers because service is the engine that makes our business run. And all with competitive prices and special financing. The Wood Floor Store in Florence.
The Wood Floor Store in Florence. Quality you can stand on.
It's Cyber Week at Academy Sports and Outdoors, which means there are 2 ways to get hot deals on everything on your Christmas list. Get everyday low prices like this Disney Frozen Jeep for just $249.99, or select men's and women's Nike fleece for $39.99. So get those stockings ready, make room under the tree, and add everybody to your list, online or in the store. 2 great ways to save money. Shop with confidence and make this a Christmas to remember.
The right gift for low prices every day. Academy.
Stop looking through the classified section for your next car. Right now at University Hyundai,